I'm Yuheng. Today, I would like to talk about video games. Yep, video games. I, myself, am a dedicated gamer. I play various types of games, ranging from role-playing adventures to first-person shooter games. Throughout my years of experiences with games, I'm beginning to notice a pattern in popular games over the years. A common theme in many popular video games, the idea of consistent updates through patches. Now, this thing helps determine the popularity of the game, the amount of time it is popular for, and even whether or not many gamers will even bother with it. In this video, I hope to discuss the value of updates and patches in modern video games. In recent years, the video game industry has grown massively. In just the first few months of 2018, video games have become much more prevalent in society, such as the almost annoying game Fortnite. But despite the rise and fall cycle of video game popularity, with mass amount of new games capturing our eyes, some older games are still around. Name me just a few here: League of Legends, Overwatch, World of Warcraft. Just how does these ancient games survive and even grow in a current condition when they have so much new competition and too many innovations that can't even be counted off of my fingers and toes altogether? Do you notice every now and then when you open up your game, there's always a new splash art or some really cool new themes? Do you notice that sometimes when you play your game, some characters are stronger or weaker than before? These new changes to our games are all brought on by one concept that had a strong impact on the industry: patches. But what actually are patches? Patches are updates, containing new challenges and additional content for games that are already out. This ranges from the buffs or nerfs to a certain item or character, adding new story modes, game modes, new customization options, or new challenges for advanced player community. How does simply adding more pictures on your screen and making certain characters or items stronger than before keeping the player addicted to the game? Let's use League of Legends as an example. Everyone has heard of League, right? Either you've heard people talk about it, commercials, or knew around the game, or you're a League addicted yourself. But do you guys realize how long this game has been around with this high popularity? It has probably been at least 1 or even 3 years or more since you have heard of the game for the first time. And the thing is still around. How? How did League of Legends achieve such a state of the game is just unkillable? Every single week, Riot Games update the game and post a set of patch notes. Outside that, the normal bug fixes and champion changes. Almost every couple months, there will be a champion rework or new champion for players to enjoy. With different champions coming up to the top of the ladder and more item customization varieties constantly, this makes League of Legends always a fresh game every single time you log onto your account. With around 150 different champions and 400 different items, the amount of surprise this game gives you never runs out. Aside from this unkillable monster of the game, there are several examples of games that was killed or even revived because of the patches. Destiny 2. Maybe some of you have heard about this legend of the game that unfortunately didn't last more than 3 months before the player popularity started dropping. With such a success Destiny 1 has brought onto the consoles, Destiny 2 even stepped their foot on the PC gaming platform. With such a great setback and such a big hype, this game has left us gamer with nothing but regret and disappointment after the first month of playing. As a heavy grind-based game, Destiny 2 doesn't need a lot of skill to complete the game itself. It just takes time for players to collect and level up. But there is always a limit to a grinding game, as it will cap out the heavy grinders' progress to be balanced with normal player population. It didn't take long for Destiny 2 players to reach the cap of the game, in other words, the end game of the Destiny. Destiny 2 died very shortly after the hype is over, as because of its horrible endgame system that is lacking challenges and the infrequent release of patches. There are many reasons for players to log back into the game. Just last week I checked onto the Destiny 2 endgame player versus player population on PC. It has once again surprised us with a new low of barely 4K concurrent players globally. Destiny 2 could have been saved by addition of new content through patches, but it wasn't until a whole month later that the game has an update, and it mostly consisted of bug fixes. Destiny 2 is dead. Now, for example, that shows just how impactful patching can be. For Honor was another game that was very popular when it came out. But again, it suffered the same problem of not having many updates, and many players gave up on the game because of how certain characters saw much more attention than others, and the game's very low level cap. There was a time when there was like almost no one playing this game. However, Ubisoft took careful consideration and released patches that reinvigorated the game's fanbase. Patches are the only reason that For Honor was revived. There was a lot of new updates that made the game look better, feel fresh to play, and brought a lot of original For Honor players back to the game. From these examples, you can see that the introduction of patches was one major factor of determining whether a game will keep its popularity. Anyway, I still love to play a lot of games, even if some of them are fading away in popularity because of a lack of patches. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.